she do? Like, they're like, how does she make money? What does she do? And I think that's a surprising thing, is that I was able to craft a successful business using 5 or 6 different avenues, I feel like when you're a creative, you can come up with all different ways to make money for your business, big and small. That's the most surprising part, is that it ended up being the one thing that I thought would always be a side hustle. But as soon as I let go of the thought that it was a side hustle and took it serious, then things started to change. That was a big turning point.
Hola y bienvenidos. Welcome to Molé Mama Cooking with Love. I'm so excited about today's guest. Oh my goodness, you guys, I have Crafty Chica here. She is with us and she is going to be talking to us about her amazing brand, Cano-Murillo. Kathy says that she is spreading the gospel of glitter. I love that. She's a speaker, an artist, an author of 10 books, and the founder of an award-winning brand and blog, Crafty Chica. And if you haven't checked her out on Instagram and on her blog, oh my goodness, you need to go and do that right now. She has so many amazing ideas of fun things to make, movie reviews, food. She's got it all over there. So go check her out. So with that, welcome to Molé Mama. I'm so excited that you're here today, Kathy.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to chat with you.
I am so excited to learn more about you. So can you tell our listeners a little bit about Crafty Chica?
Sure. So Crafty Chica is a name that I came up with like almost 20 years ago. While I was working at the newspaper, I had a craft column that was syndicated, and it ran in 130 papers all around the country. And I loved that people were so interested in crafting, because at that time it was just like our nanas who were doing the crafties and the crazy Theas and their lampshades, that kind of thing. But something happened, I believe, after 9/11. That's when I really noticed a difference, because people started staying home and doing more things with family. Like I think those events really reminded us how important it is to keep our loved ones near and spend time with them. And people started crafting, and they were in need of ideas. And I had my website, I launched it in May 2001, and it just really took off. And I shared, like, kind of like now they call it like mommy blogging, but back then I was just documenting life as working full-time at the newspaper, doing my business after everyone was asleep, raising 2 kids, being married to a husband who's a musician. It was just like a little comedy show. So I just blogged it every night. I went to bed and I did a different blog post, and then I started sharing the things that I made. And I realized that people really wanted more of that, because they were all Latino themed. Because still to this day, it's kind of hard to find Latino themed DIY content if it's outside of the holiday season. And I thought, well, I will step up and serve this, because I noticed that there's either a lot of fine art or imports, but right in the middle of home decor items, jewelry, things that we could make, that area was not being filled. So I started doing tutorials, and it just really took off. And here it is 20 years later, and I've done craft cruises for 10 years, all kinds of art retreats. I've written 2 women's fiction novels and 7 craft books, a book on Frida Kahlo. I teach workshops, I do consulting, and I co-own a gallery and boutique here in Phoenix, Arizona. And I just design product lines. So it really is just taking what I love to do and being consistent with it and following through. And I love social media. So using the different platforms to share those ideas out.
Okay, there are so many questions I want to ask you right now. But first of all, how did you become so crafty? Like how do you wake up and become crafty? Like how does that
I've just
happen?
always been creative. I've
Okay.
always loved to make things. And I also come from a family of makers. Like my dad, he was very creative. He was also a civil engineer. So he didn't only have the creativity part, he also had the engineering know how, where sometimes I lack that part of things. But then his mom, my grandmother, she was also a maker, and then her family, they used to make blankets and sell them in Sonora, Mexico. So it's like generational. I was just born into it. And I love that it has that history. And I'm sure all of us in our culture, like we're a very creative community. And I bet if we all looked into our history, we would find some hyper creatives within our lineage.
Okay, but I miss the crafty gene, but I love them. I do sew though. I sew a little bit.
Oh yeah, that's definitely. And I mean, a lot of people say that they're not crafty or they're not creative, but you have to try it and stick with it. I think if you're really connected to something, it will click, and then that motivates you to keep practicing to do it, because perfection will not happen at the beginning. Because I used to say I cannot draw. My husband, he's an artist, a fine artist, and I would just give him all of the drawing part. And then one day he said, "You're being lazy about this. Like you can do it." And he started teaching me. And it's been 10 years and I'm still learning. So I think that it's, if like you said, sewing, obviously you love that or you like it because you're doing it, and you, the more you do it, the better you get at it. So it's just picking what we like to do and then working on it. But I believe we all have the crafty gene in us. We just got to find the right, the right angle.
That is lovely. Okay, so when you were a small child, is there a craft that you remember doing and going, "Oh, I love doing this stuff."
I did not have a good experience
Really?
because I loved art class all through grade school, but every year for parent teacher conferences, and this is so funny that here I am an adult and I still remember it so vividly. I would go with my parents to parent teacher conference night and look at the cafeteria walls. None of my pieces ever were hung up.
Mm.
And it was just the worst feeling because I would talk about it to my parents, and then we'd go and it didn't make it up there. And same thing with chorus. Like it was so funny with chorus. They had tryouts and there was only two of us who didn't make it. So instead of saying, you can't sing, you can't, they did tryouts for everything. And then even in craft class, we had to make these latch hook rugs. And I didn't want to use the template. So I drew my own template. And my teacher gave me a D in the whole class because I kept wanting to draw my own templates. I didn't want to use the pattern that they gave us. And so I went into my early adulthood feeling like I knew I loved to be creative, but I wasn't good at it because of these experiences I had. And it wasn't until I met my husband and we were friends and we were hanging out, and he was like, "You know what? I will tell you the words he said, but he's like, forget what they told you. Like they wanted you to conform to what they thought, art should be." He's like, "If you like to make stuff, just make it. Just don't think about being judged on it. Just make it." And that's really set me free to say, you know what? If I want to do a hot pink with a layer of red glitter and a layer of spray varnish, I'm going to go for it, topped with crystals. Let's do it. So it really was unlearning from my childhood, being stifled on my creativity, but I made up for it as a young adult. And now I just don't let it stop me. So I can't really remember a specific project. I remember like the latch hook rug incident, and I just remember the blur of parent teacher conferences and never having my pieces on the wall. And it's just, I'm glad. I hope school has come a long way since then, because I know it's not very much like that now. Like, it's very much everyone needs to feel special kind of thing.
That is amazing that you found your freedom and you unlearned something that,
Yes, yes. I had to set myself free from the narrative that I grew up with when it came to creativity. And I'm glad I did it. And that's why I always tell people, I've never been to official art school. I'm self-taught in a lot of things. If you want to make something or write something or learn to dance or learn to sing, you have to put in the practice. Figure it out if you really want to do it, and let go of the doubts that people put in your head or that you put in your own head.
that's such good advice. And I know that I had a similar experience. So I had a similar experience where I was a sophomore in college and I grew up with three languages in my home: Portuguese, Spanish, and English. And grammar has never been a thing for me. It's always been a challenge. And I had been told through school that I wasn't a creative writer, even though I loved to write all the time.
Mhm.
And when I was in college, I had this professor tell me that he couldn't believe that I'd gotten as far as I had in the educational system with my inability to write. Right. And now I have spent most of my adult life working in
Mhm.
marketing, writing. I write for business.
Yes.
I write
Mhm.
for a living. That's what I do.
Yeah.
And I have a book. And I mean, so it's quite interesting. And I think the message that you're telling us about unlearning the narrative is so important. And
Yes.
wow.
Especially if it's something that you feel passionate about. And I also tell parents to pay attention to what their kids are into, because maybe they're not getting the encouragement at school or in art class or in English.
Mhm.
And it's up to us to, really know what gets them excited. And I carried that through me as a parent with my kids. My daughter loved making comedy videos, and my son loved video games. So when they each turned 16, I bought them their own URL and helped them set up a website and a blog so they could turn it into something more substantial. And now, as adults, they're still doing it. My daughter, full time, she works at BuzzFeed full time as a content creator and actress. And my son, he has a full-time job. His video game blog, it's like his passion project, and he's had it for several years. I don't know, like 8 or 9 years now. And I think it's just something that we can pass on to our kids. Whatever we were lacking, we can make sure that we fulfill that with our kids.
That is so beautiful that you've done that. Okay, I have to ask now. I'm going to change subjects, but
Uh-huh.
you have recipes all over your website too. So where did you learn
Yes.
to cook at home? So where did you learn to cook?
I'm still learning to cook. So if you notice, the recipes are all very basic, but they're presented in a creative way.
Yes.
So when it came to being a content creator for my blog and working with brands, at first I looked at all the beautiful food writers and food bloggers, and I thought, oh my gosh, there's no way I can compete with that. Like, I would be embarrassed. And then again, I had to say, Kathy, don't talk like that about yourself. Like, you can
Mm.
do this. Like, I really had to drill down to, what am I good at? What do I like to do? What has been the success for my craft projects? Okay, let's apply that to food. What is the crafty equivalent of sparkle for food? And he was like, oh, they make edible glitter. Okay, let's cover our paletas in edible glitter and tahine. So it's just really finding some creative ways to present traditional foods. And that has been so fun. Just this week, I did hot chocolate bombs.
I saw
And for
those.
Dia de los Muertos, like to put on your ofrenda. My dad's ofrenda, he always liked hot beverages, like hot coffee and hot chocolate. So I made that, to put there. It had over 800,000 views on TikTok right now.
Oh my
So, and
goodness.
it's just, and I use Mexican hot chocolate inside. So I try to give everything a little twist to make it a little different.
That is just so, but again, you found your voice. So it's
Yes,
not somebody else's way of cooking, or
right.
it's your voice. And that is such a great lesson. I think I needed to hear that, because I look at some of the food bloggers and go, oh dear, like I can't.
Yeah, you just have to think, what am I good at? What is my secret sauce that I can apply to this project to make it different? And it's a challenge. You have to take it as a challenge.
It's really great advice. Okay. So back to your crafts, because you have so many on your website. What's been the most popular one that you've ever
Oh
done?
gosh. You know what? There's been several. It cycles, like depending what people are into. I think the very first one that really hit it out of the park, and when I do these projects, I research to see if it has been done before. This was 2011. I showed how to glitter your floor using epoxy. And now you can look online and there's a bunch of videos there's products out there how to glitter your floor. But I honestly believe that I was one of the pioneers in that area to glitter your floor. So
So
that one was really popular. So I really like the wow projects. One that really surprised me this summer, I had a campaign for milk, and I cut up the milk jugs and made earrings and used alcohol inks. That one has been a winner. Like, it's always at the top. And then I do a lot of ceramics, so I have some posts on how to take care of your kiln. That has been super. So you just never know what people are
right.
into. And again, I put research into it, and I say, what are people doing? I really read the room. What are people talking about? What are the new things that they're doing? And then I research to see what's out there. And then I see what is something different that I can offer. And the hot chocolate bombs is a perfect example. I had kind of heard of them, but I didn't quite know what they were. And I saw the tutorial on TikTok. And I thought, oh my God, I have to do that this weekend. Because, when something gets popular, it hits. And I guarantee you, you're going to see hot chocolate bombs all season long for the holidays. It's like, it's the new cake pop. It's the new Dalgona coffee.
That is outstanding. That is so fun. All right. So we've got the holidays just around the corner. Is there a favorite craft that you have for the holiday season?
Oh my gosh, anything that I can use glitter in, I'm game for. So I always love cutting up Latinx t-shirts and making stockings out of them. So I need to do a new batch of that because I haven't done those in a while. And that's always a fun one. And then painting, the ceramic trees that are popular again.
Yes.
Well, I have these cactus ceramic trees. So I love painting those because being here in Arizona at our store, that was our most popular workshop last year. We just could not have enough of them. Like, we started in August teaching that class, and it sold out all the way through December. So
Oh,
I love that. Anything with lights or sparkle on it.
oh my goodness. Okay. So do you have any classes online, or are all your classes in person?
They were all in person, and
Mhm.
then when COVID happened, I've done two online so far, and I'm organizing a virtual Crafty Chica retreat. So every year I do a retreat. And I felt really bad that I had to skip it this year because of everything going on. And I thought, you know what, I could do a virtual one. So it's going to be the first weekend in December. And I have my new paper crafting line that comes out. on HSN next week. So we're going to use, a bunch of products from that. And we're just going to make some fun. And also I designed a line of bisque for Paint on Pottery Studio. So we'll have that as well. So it'll just be a fun craft retreat. And I mail you the box that has everything in it.
Okay. And so can we register on your website to?
Yes, I'll have it up probably by the end of the weekend.
How fun.
But you can go to craftychica.com and sign up for my newsletter. And then I always send it out on the newsletter first.
Okay. So fun. All right. So we talked about some of your most popular crafts, but do you have a favorite one that you came up with and you were like, oh, I love doing this one. I love how it came out.
Yes.
What's your favorite?
Oh my gosh. I definitely love card making different types of holiday cards. I love making my own wrapping paper. Again, making the stockings, make anything. I love painting coffee mugs. I do ceramics. So I can't really say there's one favorite thing. It's kind of all of it. It's just the season, it's the vibe, it's the magic that, whatever I have on hand, I'll make something with it.
Okay, your smile is just so incredible. For some reason, I was thinking when you were talking about things that I've loved to do, and I'm like, oh, I used to love making little mud pies when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Decorating them with sticks and feathers.
Uh-huh.
Oh my goodness. Okay, you're making me think of really happy thoughts. So anyway, just wanted to share that. So how fun. Okay. So do you have a most popular recipes ever on your?
For Dia de los Muertos, we have these sugar skull candy apples that were very popular.
Oh my goodness.
And so that did really, really good. And then I made empanadas in the shape of little sugar skulls that were fun. And I think the chocolate bomb recipe, the hot chocolate bomb, has been super popular when it comes to food. And then, all the traditional, my dad used to make like 40 to 50 dozen tamales every holiday season. So I have his recipe where I made the sauce and the masa and everything. So that always does really well too.
Yeah, I love tamales. We used to make tons of them as well. Lots and lots of tamales.
Aww.
So fun. So fun to do that. You're doing amazing things, Amiga, just amazing. And you're so inspirational. What's been one of the biggest or some of the biggest surprises since you started Crafty Chica?
I think the biggest surprise is that the success of it, because just having that background I told you of growing up, of no one would take art serious. And I remember one of my first campaigns, I told my parents, and my mom's like, let me guess, they're going to pay you in free glue. And I'm like, no, they're going to pay money. Like, oh my gosh. It's a hard sell. And I still have people to this day in my family who don't quite know what I do. Like, they're like, how does she make money? What does she do? And I think that's a surprising thing, is that I was able to craft a successful business using 5 or 6 different avenues. I feel like when you're a creative, you can come up with all different ways to make money for your business, big and small. And that's what I've done, is I've looked at it like a craft project of building the brand, of how I can extend it, what has how to give it shine, what category does it go into. So I think that's the most surprising part, is that it ended up being the one thing that I thought would always be a side hustle. But as soon as I let go of the thought that it was a side hustle and took it serious, then things started to change. That was a big turning point, a big surprise right there.
Okay, so you're crafty and you're full of lots of wisdom too. Really good. Also something I needed to hear. So what have been some of your biggest challenges? Because It sounds like you're very busy.
Well, there's always challenges. Early on in my career, it was being organized
Mm.
because it was easier just to be sloppy with things, like say my design studio, and everything was just kind of thrown everywhere, and I would walk in excited to create something, and then I would get kind of deflated because it was messy. And then I realized if I want to be taken serious, I have to take myself serious.
Mm.
And I called my mother in law, and she came over, and the two of us, and my husband and the kids, we ripped this whole room, we emptied it out, solid, empty. And then I packaged up all the supplies that I had not used that were still good, and I sold them as mystery boxes for $35. And then I used that money to buy new cabinets, a shelving system, organization system. And every night when I go to bed, I make sure this studio is clean and my table is clean. That way, when I come in the morning to work, I feel fresh. I have a fresh work area. I feel like if I take myself serious, other people will as well. So that was a big challenge of getting rid of, or changing habits. That was a big challenge, changing habits. And another challenge in the past couple of years is managing the growth of my business and realizing that I cannot do it all myself. Something is going to suffer. If I really want to have a product line on HSN, I can't be labeling every single thing that I make. Like, I need to hire someone to do that type of thing for me. So, about over a year ago, I hired a manager, and she helped me get organized with everything and took a lot of things off of my plate, administration type of things. And that was just such a game changer for me. And so now that I mastered that, now I'm thinking, what is the next challenge that I'm at right now? And I know exactly what it is because I can tell when I'm slipping into a comfort zone. So this is something I'm sure maybe all of us can relate to. I call it productive procrastination. So, for example, I have two segments on the Home Shopping Network on Monday, and I have to have all of my card samples. But I'm doing everything else you can think of instead of making the card samples, like busy work, busy work. And I think that it is, once I start asking why, like that 7 layers of why, like, Kathy, why are you making these? Well, these need to get done too. What is closer to the bigger goal? It's HSN. What, and I realize it's fear. Like, I'm afraid to make these cards because it's really happening. Like, it's fear of success. And I know I'm going to make them. I don't want to make them at the last minute stressed out. So I have to recognize when it's happening to say, you don't need to label all of these other things. You don't need to do work on the cards and give yourself 5 hours to get them done. And don't turn all your devices on do not disturb, put some music on or an audiobook and enjoy the process. So dealing with productive procrastination is a challenge.
Okay, that is really great advice because I am so guilty of that. Oh my
All of us
goodness.
are, and we're
Oh,
not
it
even aware
explains
of
so
it.
many things.
Yes, yeah. It's like that. I saw a meme recently where this girl was like, "Oh, let me get a piece of paper. Oh, this junk drawer is a mess. Let me reorganize it." And then she's like, "Oh, this silverware does. I need new silverware. Let me go to Target and get new silverware." And it all started because she just needed a piece of paper. It's that little rabbit hole that you go down, and it's productive procrastination, and we have to, train ourselves to get back on track with the end goal.
Oh, that's really okay. I feel like I've had my own personal consulting this interview with you. Stuff I so needed to hear, but I am so guilty of that. Right now I have 4 videos to edit, and let me tell you, that's not what I'm working on. There's other stuff
Yes.
that I'm doing.
So you know what? A new trick, not a trick, but something that I have been doing, and my daughter and I talk about this all the time. We always say, do it for your future self. So I think of future Kathy, and future Kathy on Monday is telling, Wednesday Kathy, thank you for taking the time to make those cards and not putting it off to the last minute. They look great. They have good energy. I'm so proud of you, Wednesday Kathy. So think of your future self, to be proud. You want your future self to be proud of you. And that has really helped a lot, because it's on the other side. She's already there. Things are great. I just got to do my job here and I'll be where she is. So that has been really helpful.
Okay, I'm definitely going to do that. Future Diana will be grateful for the second book is done. And all this other
Yes,
stuff.
yes, exactly. She's signing her book and she's like, yes, giving you the thumbs up. Thank you for doing this.
That's awesome. Oh my goodness. Okay. I just have one more question for you. So
Sure.
I wonder, I would love some advice for any of our listeners who want to start doing crafts that have,
Mhm.
that also need to unlearn the, I'm not good at crafting, or it's not something I
Yeah.
can do.
Well, I would say the first thing is to have fun and play around with different things. And that doesn't mean go buy all this expensive equipment. First, take a class. You take some classes, and then you'll find the thing that resonates with you. Is it card making? Is it ceramics? Is it painting? Is it jewelry making? What is something that clicks with you, that comes naturally easy? Something you've always wanted to try. And it's good to try it, because you might find out it's you don't like it. And you could like save all that money and time and energy on your brain of thinking, someday I want to be a metalsmith. And then you start doing metalsmith work. Oh my God, these tools are crazy. I don't, so it's best to take a class to try things out. There's so many videos on YouTube if you want to learn card making, just using things that you have around the house. Be original, come up with your own designs, your own sayings. Look and see what is out there, what has already been done, and really try to come up with something different. Don't just go the easy route and take something that you saw and do it. That is the easiest way to fail, because you're cheating yourself out of pushing yourself to have a creative idea, and you're cheating the end consumer because someone else already came up with it and it was their idea. So I would say just be true to yourself, work on something that you've always wanted to do, take a class, and push yourself to be creative, to be innovative.
Okay, Kathy, I have just loved talking to you. Oh my goodness. I knew it was going to be an amazing experience to get some of your time and to learn more about you, but wow, so awesome. And before I forget, I have to say congratulations for everything that you've
Thank
accomplished.
you. Thank you so
So many
much.
amazing accomplishments. First of all, you don't have one book, you have 10, which is amazing because I've written a book. I know what that's like. And also HSN, really? That's so huge.
Oh my gosh.
Congratulations.
I'm still,
Oh, that's
oh,
just, yeah.
I know I'm still kind of spinning about it, and I think I'll feel better Monday night after it's all over with. Right now, I'm still just like, okay, let's do this. Let's do this.
Oh, it's fantastic. I'm so happy for you. And I think what you're putting out there as far as all the positive energy, all the creative energy, it's definitely coming back to you. So all the
Oh,
goodness,
thank
yeah,
you.
finding its way back for sure. So
Well, thank you. It has been such a pleasure to get to know you and to chat with you. And congratulations on all of your success too. I'm so delighted to be a part of your podcast.
thank you. For our listeners, thank you so much for joining us. Please remember to add the most important ingredient to every recipe you make, your love. And as my mama always said to me as we said our goodbyes, que Dios te bendiga. May God bless you and be well.